So I thought it would be appropriate to do up a vlog, what with the channel having what can only be described as an out-of-character amount of views compared to the normal state of things. I also want to talk about Blizzcon and something about Patreon as well, so stick around because I'd like your opinion on a few things. For starters, holy crap, when I did the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement video, I figured it would do about as well as Feature Creep normally does. That is to say, 400 to 500 views on a good episode and maybe a couple of subscribers along the way. Instead, after some massive Reddit cross-posting from viewers, which I appreciate more than you will ever know, and a rather heavy Twitter retweet and favorite blitz as well as Jim Sterling doing his video, it hit over 120,000 views in less than 2 weeks. For those keeping track, that's a 24,000% increase over normal. And I just sat back and watched it, stunned with the thought in the back of my mind saying, this is what viral feels like. And to have almost universally positive reactions from people, at least in my direction, because of course everyone is ticked about the TPP, was very humbling indeed. I had 3,900 subscribers before the video, and am now over 7,000 of you wonderful people who I've somehow misled into believing that I make reasonably okay videos. So thank you very much for that support. I've been making videos for almost 4 years now, which as you can imagine, with a bit short of 4,000 subscribers after all that time, takes its toll on personal motivation, which has rather rapidly been an exercise demon of late. While I'm not big on the idea of taking requests outright, I do read all feedback and will be trying to improve on what suggestions have been made thus far where possible. Again, thank you. Alright, on to the con. This bit's pretty short. I'm going to be at Blizzcon this year, staying at the Annabelle Hotel, so if you're in the area or see someone with a fancy grouchy gnome on their back, stop by and say hi. I'd love to chat. And don't worry, I'm not entirely narcissistic. I got the shirts from a Chinese manufacturer for like $5 for 2 with free shipping. Couldn't say no to that kind of deal. I'll be getting my Overwatch on, spending some time in the Diablo Slaughtered Calf Inn, and playing in the Hearthstone Tavern. Not really big into WoW these days. I don't have much for BlizzCon predictions this year because basically they blanked Diablo 3 from the schedule. I'm still hopeful for a D3 second expansion reveal, but with no panel time or open slots, I don't know how that's possible. We'll probably see the full Warcraft movie trailer though, which I'm sure will look amazing. Whether the story follows, well, that's debatable. Outside of that, we've already got the next WoW expansion on the grill, Overwatch beta just began, StarCraft 2 is out in just a few days, so probably more Heroes of the Storm characters being revealed and maybe the next Hearthstone single-player X-Pack. I don't know, it kind of feels like it's going to be a light BlizzCon. We'll still be a blast though, because it always is. And last but not least, the dreaded Patreon topic. I don't perceive myself to be of the size whereby Patreon would allow me to do YouTube full-time, so that's not quite where I'm going with this. I've got a full-time job, as I mentioned, working in agreements, which unfortunately can do some harm to some of the more long-form content that I would like to do to supplement what's already on the channel right now. Specifically, there are 2 video series that I want to be doing, but I'm just not sure that I have the time, or in the one case, the money, frankly, to pull it off. The first is a video series called Gaming Chronicles, which I've done 1 video of so far on GLaDOS. The link is in the description so you can see what I'm talking about. The theory is that maybe say once a month I'd be targeting putting out a video on a game industry hero or villain that is very in-depth on their history and involves controversies and fan theories as well. The problem is that video represents 24 hours of my life. I'm definitely happy with it, but man, they're not small videos that I can bang out in a few hours. So that's possibility number 1 that I wanted to seek opinions on. The second is a series that I have wanted to do for years. Out of high school, I wanted to get into game development. Not having any idea what it would entail, I went for computer engineering, which turned out to be a mistake because I can't seem to wrap my head around math for the sake of math, which is the whole first year of engineering. And ever since then, I've wanted to do some kind of resource that helps people understand exactly what the game industry does, but on a daily basis so that they don't make the same uneducated mistakes that I did. So, this series would involve online and in-person interviews with game developers of varying job titles, and in each case, the goal is to have them describe for me what their day-to-day job actually is like and what kinds of skills and education would help for that job. Think of it as a young person's practical guide to game development, or old person's, I suppose, for those who are into the whole lifelong learning deal. The problem with series number 2 is that while my GoPro might work from a video recording perspective, I need microphones, specifically 2 SmartLav Plus mics, which is what I've researched to be reasonable for the price, and eventually a proper video camera for the interviews. I've got contacts at BioWare who's local to me here in Edmonton, and I know a couple of other devs personally that would be the first people that I would contact. In both of these 2 cases, I'm having a really tough time dedicating the required hours or being able to peel money off of the 9-to-5 paycheck. I could do a solid 6 to 8 videos in the time it would take me to make a single Chronicles vid, and frankly, I don't have the extra cash to do the interview series. The idea of being able to at some point in the future do this wonderful hobby of mine as a full-time job, though, is quite an intoxicating thought, to be honest. I'm not sure how much I like the idea of Patreon being a fund my life kind of deal. I kind of feel like people who may choose to contribute should be getting something out of it, even if that something is content that people who don't contribute get access to as well, if maybe later on. But in all of this, I have no desire to alienate the new audience that has miraculously shown up at my door by starting to pester them for money, and definitely not without some kind of content offer in return. So if you could, please feel free to chime in on the Patreon topic, and if you're going to be at Blizzcon, I'd love to see you there. And finally, if you're an old subscriber from before the TPP video days, thank you so much for sticking around. You guys and gals kept me going for years. To the new subscribers, welcome to the Thunderdome. My current target is to have about a 3-video-a-week schedule with the news wrap-up, feature creep, and a review, assuming that I have a game to review. That said, there will be no news wrap-up on Saturday this week because I'll be in California. Feature creep is still scheduled for Monday, though. I can't thank you lot enough. Cheers.